The Fifth Agreement. By Don Miguel Ruiz. The Toltecs were a society of ancient people who were known for their knowledge in the fields of science and art. They came together at Teotihuacan, a city known for its ancient pyramids, and formed a society of masters and students. Over time, the society was forced to hide their knowledge from those who were not prepared to use it wisely, and this led to the European conquest of Mexico and the misuse of Toltec teachings by a few individuals. Fortunately, the teachings have been passed down through different lineages of naguals, and they are now available to be accessed by anyone willing to learn them. Toltec wisdom is not a religion, but it does honor all the spiritual masters who have taught on the earth. It is most accurately described as a way of life that is distinguished by the ready accessibility of happiness and love. It's all in the program. The message that a child delivers to the world is that they are an angel, a messenger from the infinite. Everything that a child needs to be who they are is in the program, and the process of learning to speak and use symbols begins at birth. Children learn to be good or bad, right or wrong, by following the rules and values of their family and society. Through the process of domestication, all the information that a child needs to be a good human is downloaded into their head by agreement. Everything we learn goes into our minds by agreement, and it stays in our minds by agreement, but first, it goes through attention. Attention is important because it is the part of the mind that allows humans to concentrate on a single object or thought. It is also the channel we use to send and receive messages from human to human. Through attention, information from the outside is conveyed to the inside and vice versa. Attention is the bridge we use to open the bridge from one mind to another mind. Before domestication, humans don't care about what they look like or what they are. After domestication, humans try to be good enough for everyone else, but they are never good enough for themselves because they can never live up to their image of perfection. The Art of Humans. The author explains the importance of agreements in our lives. He talks about how we make agreements with ourselves, with society, and with others by learning the symbols that we use. These symbols have meaning only because we agree on their meaning. If we don't agree, the symbols are meaningless. The author also explains how agreements change depending on the language that we are speaking and the culture that we are in. The tree in our garden will depend on how we feel about it, and our feelings will depend on the symbols we use to represent it. Our interpretation of the tree is not exactly the truth, but it is a reflection of the truth. The real truth is what is true for everyone, no matter what their interpretation may be. What matters is our awareness of what is real and what is virtual. If we can learn to be aware of what is real, we can begin to change our beliefs and create a better, more fulfilling life. The Toltecs were masters of the human mind, and by understanding what the human mind is and how it works, we can begin to master our own life and the lives of those around us. The First Agreement. Be impeccable with your word. The author is discussing the power that humans have to create stories. Every one of us has a story that we share, and this story is the truth for us because we believe that it's the truth. We create the story of our own lives, the story of our family, the story of our community, the story of our country, the story of humanity, and the story of the entire world. Every one of us has a message that we deliver to ourselves, and everyone and everything around us. The first agreement is to be impeccable with your words. This means that you should always positively use your words, and never use them to hurt or insult others. When you are impeccable with your word, you create a life of freedom and fulfillment. Remember, you are the creator of your own life story. The word is pure magic, and when you adopt the first agreement, magic just happens in your life. Your intentions and desires come easily because there is no resistance, there is no fear, there is only love. You are at peace, and you create a life of freedom and fulfillment in every way. The Second Agreement. Don't take anything personally. Our brain is constantly dreaming because it is programmed to do so. Our lives are just a dream because the brain is interpreting everything we perceive according to the meaning we give to every symbol, according to the structure of our language, and according to all of the knowledge that was programmed in our minds. The way you dream when you are 10 years old is completely different from the way you dream when you are 15 or when you are 20 or 30 or 40, or the way you dream now. The story you're dreaming of today is not the same story that you were dreaming of yesterday, or even half an hour ago. The second agreement is that nobody understands you and that you don't understand yourself. This is because you are always changing based on the secondary characters in your story, your dreams, and your personality at home. The solution is to not take anything personally, which frees you from the emotions of others. Once you understand that all humans live in their own world, in their own movies, in their own dream, the second agreement is pure common sense: don't take anything personally. The third agreement: don't make assumptions. Lies control the minds of humans, leading to conflict and suffering. The truth is always present, but humans sometimes believe in lies and create superstitions about reality. But sooner or later the truth arrives, and the lies cannot survive the presence of the truth. Remember, our dream is controlled by what we believe, and what we believe could be true, or could be fiction. The truth leads us to our authenticity, to happiness. Lies lead us to limitations in our lives, to suffering and drama. Whoever believes in truth, lives in heaven. Whoever believes in lies, sooner or later lives in hell. We don't have to die to go to heaven or hell. Heaven is all around us, just as hell is all around us. Heaven is a point of view, a state of mind, and so is hell. Humans have been lied to about the truth of the world for many years. The belief that the earth was flat was considered the truth for many people, but recent discoveries have shown that it is not flat. Superstitions such as the belief that somebody is perfect unless they have a disability are also examples of lies that humans believe. Awareness is necessary to see the truth and to break free from the lies that have been told to us. The third agreement is, don't make assumptions. This means that instead of assuming things about other people or situations, you should be aware of what you're thinking and ask questions to confirm your assumptions. When you do this, you can avoid creating unnecessary drama in your life. The belief system is a tyrant that takes away our freedom and makes us its slave. It takes power over the real us, the human life, and it isn't even real. The real us stays hidden someplace in the mind, and the one who controls the mind at that point is everything we know, everything we agreed to believe. The human body, which is beautiful and perfect, becomes the victim of all the judgment and punishment. It becomes just a vehicle where the mind acts and projects itself through the body. To escape the belief system, we must be aware of our own creation and be willing to take our power back from the symbols. If we do this, the symbols will be just symbols and will no longer have power over us. The fourth agreement: always do your best. The dream of your life is made by thousands of little dreams that are dynamic. Dreams are born, they grow, and they die, which means they're always transforming. But usually, they're transforming without your awareness. Once you are aware that you're dreaming, you recover your power to change the dream whenever you choose. When you discover that you have the power to create a dream of heaven, you want to change your dream, and the four agreements are the perfect tool for that. They challenge the tyrant, the judge, and the victim in your head. They challenge all those tiny agreements that make your life difficult. The four agreements are about mastering your transformation. The first agreement is about accepting yourself for who you are. The second agreement is about projecting unconditional love to the authentic you. The third agreement is about taking action and practicing until you become a dream master. The fourth agreement is about facing what you believe. By breaking agreements and challenging your beliefs, you will achieve mastery of your transformation. The fifth agreement: be skeptical, but learn to listen. The fifth agreement is to be skeptical of the things we hear, but learn to listen in order to better understand the meaning of symbols. When we learn to listen, we understand that most of what we know through symbols is not true, and that this allows us to be more questioning and analytical in our communication. Your thoughts are your own, and you can control them. You can choose to believe what the speaker is saying, or you can choose to be skeptical and doubt everything. Once you are skeptical, you can use doubt to challenge all the messages that your tyrant, your thoughts, tells you. Your tyrant is ruthless. It's always abusing you by using all those symbols against you. It thrives on emotional poison generated by negative emotions, and the way it generates these emotions in you is by judging and giving opinions. Nobody judges you more than you judge yourself. Of course, you try to escape from the judgment, the guilt, the rejection, the punishment. The author describes how a person can become addicted to substances and behaviors because of the voice of knowledge. People try to avoid their own story by believing symbols, which can become distorted and create self-hate. The voice of knowledge can become so distorted that it can kill the human. To avoid this, people need to learn to listen to their own stories and follow the truth. This is difficult but is possible with education. When you go to the movies or read a novel, you don't believe it, but you can enjoy it, right? Once you can see the difference between reality and virtual reality, you know that you can trust reality and you don't have to trust virtual reality, but you can enjoy both. You can enjoy what is, and you can enjoy what you create. A lot of people in the world claim to know what the will of God is, and a lot of people predict big disasters will happen shortly. But so far, nothing bad has happened in the year 2000 and computers will be destroyed. People used to think that we would revert to the time of the caveman, but that didn't happen either. The point is, be skeptical of people who claim to know things but also remember to listen and to make your own decisions. Awareness is the key to coming back to life, and it's one of the main masteries of the Toltecs. Awareness takes you out of the dream of the first attention, into the dream of the second attention, where you rebel against all the lies that are ruling your head. You rebel, and the whole dream starts changing. Human sacrifice still happens even though we may not believe in it anymore. We change the names of the gods, but the meaning of the symbols remains the same. We believe in justice, liberty, and democracy, but these are the names of the new gods. We give our power to these symbols, and we take them to the realm of the gods to sacrifice our lives. In general, humans believe in a lot of lies and myths, which causes them a lot of pain. These lies and myths come from our past and tend to repeat themselves in our present. The main lie we believe is that our past is always true, and this creates a lot of self-judgment and suffering. True justice would be to pay one time for every mistake we make, but in reality, we often pay many times for the same mistake. To change this, we need to change the action that causes the reaction. The 4 agreements are a set of rules for using your attention to create personal heaven. The 5th agreement is the end of personal transformation and the beginning of giving yourself the greatest gift you can give yourself, the gift of doubt. Doubt is the tool we use to recover our faith, take our power back from every lie and superstition we believe in, and return that power to ourselves. The dream of the 3rd attention. The dream of the 2nd attention ends when something very important happens in our lives, the day of the Last Judgment. This is the day when we accept ourselves just the way we are and accept everybody else just the way they are. When the day of our Last Judgment comes, the war in our head is over, and the dream of the 3rd attention begins. This is the day when we are no longer in the dream of the warriors and we are in the upper world or the dream of the masters. The dream of the masters is a dream of truth, respect, and love. It is a playground of life where we are meant to live. Awareness is the only thing that can take us to the place where we can become one with life, with God. Light is alive, creates all the time, and cannot be destroyed. It is everywhere and everything is full of light, but we cannot see light unless it is reflected. The universe is connected and there are no empty spaces between the stars. Every living being has a soul that protects it and makes it impenetrable. We are all made by light, and light is our other half. When light is modifying our brain, the brain by itself is modifying God's factory, the DNA, for the next possible human being that can come from us. It doesn't matter if we are a Christian, a Buddhist, a Muslim, or a Hindu. We come from the same place, and we're going back to the same place. In the dream of the 3rd attention, we are not putting our attention on life. We are life, we are the force, we are intent, and intent controls the attention. The dream of the third attention is the dream of pure intent. We become aware that we are living not just as a concept, but as an action, as complete awareness. Now we can see with the eyes of truth, and this is a completely different point of view. End of the summary. Thanks for listening.